Chandrasekar sir, thank you so much for taking the time to do this and be on our platform.
No problem.
So just to give an introduction, Chandrasekar sir, who is the co-founder and CPO at Mozark. So Mozark is a digital experience management platform that serves to measure and improve customer experience through their artificial intelligence and machine learning engine. So even though I've given a brief background to what Mozark does, it would be great to hear from you a little more in depth about the products and solutions offered by you.
Thanks, Navya. I'd love to talk about Mozark. What we do is, most of our life has become digital now. So pretty much everything that we consume through a digital channel, be an app, watching, smart TVs, or whether it is even, smart refrigerator and smart devices and appliances and all of that. Pretty much everything that you touch is now digital and in some way or the other connected to the internet. And so our premise has been when your quality of life is going to be determined by the quality of the digital experience that you have on a daily basis. So if you have a poor streaming experience, or if you have a poor experience using your banking app or whatever, your life is also not going to be very interesting, right? So our mission is to ensure that every individual gets a great digital experience, and we provide a portfolio of tools that enable be it a connectivity player like a telco or an application owner to test their application or the network and identify areas where they can enhance the experience. So that's what we provide and do.
Okay. Yeah, also something, now there are such large tech companies that have such amazing user experience and user interface that when any user downloads an app, they expect the same quality. So I feel like that's something that app developers sometimes need to work on. So like you said, app testing and interactions are some of the features of our platform. Can you tell us a little bit more about your algorithm and tools that you use to provide these automated testing solutions?
Yeah, sure. So what we do is, what we provide is, generally in the industry is called a device farm, right? So when you have to test an app, for example, you have to test it across a wide variety of devices. So no two Android devices are the same, right? So within Android, you have Android 12, Android 11, Android versions. An Android ecosystem on Xiaomi is very different from Android on, let's say, Motorola or a Huawei device or anything, right? So you have quite a few variations within the Android ecosystem. Even on iOS, while it's a far more controlled ecosystem than Android, even then there's a lot of variation between, let's say, an iOS 15 and an iOS 14. Versus an iOS 13, an iPad, and iPhone, different screen sizes, and so on. Right. So one thing that is important is any app has to be tested across a wide variety of devices, right? Yeah. So we provide that platform that enables you to test it across a wide variety of devices. Second is under different real network conditions, right? So we don't simulate anything. So we provide a distributed device cloud, some devices in a good network, some devices in a bad network, and so on. So you can also assess whether your app is performing optimally even in the poor network scenario, right? And you can make a smart sort of decisions based on the network quality. Third, we support automation. So it's not about testing it manually. It's about automating the process of testing and ensuring that you're able to do all of these things in an automated manner. So we provide an automation framework to do that, right? So those are the three things that we do.
And also once the testing has been carried out and like you said, these bugs are identified, or like you get to know how do I optimize my app to work in bad network, what are some of the solutions that you then provide to these common problems that are inferred during the app testing?
So what we do is we provide the direction or indicate where the problems lie, right? Yeah. Once an organization knows where the problems are, then they can go and make different kinds of changes to it. Yeah. One is, of course, going and optimizing the code, right? It could be something as simple as changing your content delivery network, right? So I'm assuming if you talk about media companies or even gaming companies for that matter, CDNs play a large role in terms of delivering the right experience. So you can go and optimize your CDN performance in the CDN configuration, or the different backend services that you can go and optimize to ensure that you provide a much better latency on different user journeys. So the idea is to point the engineer or the product owner in terms of the right areas where they can go and improve the quality of experience. And then there are certain actions that they can take, whether it is architectural changes on the app itself, or whether it is the content delivery network, or whether it's the backend optimization, whatever the case may be.
Right. And when I was going through, one of the very interesting solutions or products that you offer is the 5G Mark self-measurement kit. So can you tell us a little bit more about that and the technology behind it?
Yeah, the 5G Mark kit is essentially to help network owners, right? So it is very, very targeted at enterprise networks as well as telecom networks, where one can, it's a sort of a do-it-yourself testing kit for engineers to test the quality of the network in their location. Yeah. So it's widely accepted. It is a product that is sort of used by the many regulators across the world who regulate telecom networks and the quality of networks across different countries. So it's a very simple kit which has about 4 or 5 devices in a laptop bag connected to a battery pack and stuff. And there are continuous tests that are going on these devices to test the quality of networks. And the data so collected is then sent to our backend, and we have a GIS platform on which the data collected is sort of rendered, and you can see it on a nice map, whether it is at a pan country level, or a pan city level, or a pan state level, or a pan district level. So different levels at which you can view the data, and then you can, if you're a telco, you can decide where to go and invest. And improve the quality of experience.
Right. So considering that we all are now in a pandemic and everyone's working from home, according to some recent statistics, in 2020, people created as much as 1.7 megabytes of data per second. And by 2025, that number is set to go up by 200 plus zettabytes of data that will be in the cloud storage across the globe. So what are some of the challenges you see in data privacy and confidentiality, and how do you overcome them while building your service offerings?
Yeah, so data privacy is obviously a very important and a very relevant topic given the amount of digital footprint every individual is creating, right? And I think we operate heavily in the European markets, and the European markets have been sort of playing a leading role in defining the standards for data privacy. So if you go back and look at GDPR, for example, right, it's one of the most stringent sort of policies around data privacy, right? And I think the primary premise on which it is founded is the concept of consent, right? Is there an explicit consent that is taken when your data is either taken or consumed for what purpose? So it's not just a consent for collecting data, but it's also a consent for using that data collected, right? Yeah. So I think every product needs to take data privacy as an integral to its design, right? And for example, our own thing, right? If you take our own product, we were very clear from the beginning that none of our products will require a deep integration into the app itself. So we won't be putting an SDK into the app, collect data in the background while the user is doing something, and then collect the data and use it for analysis and stuff like that. So we were very clear that, look, we are not going to be collecting any background data, right? There are different methodologies different people have adopted, like real user monitoring and all of that stuff. But all of that involves collecting data while the while the customer is not even being aware that you're collecting that data. So as a principle, we as a company decided not to do that, right? We do it in a very synthetic manner. So these kind of decisions, different companies will have to keep in mind, and any product designer or product developer needs to take these decisions very consciously.
Right. And now there's so much focus also on like providing low code and no code platforms for delivering tech solutions to solve business problems. So can you throw some light on how you provide or how your platform is designed in a way in which, like for example, your user experience testing helps in detecting problems without making changes to the source code. So can you tell us a little bit more about how that's implemented in your solution?
Yeah, like I said, right, we are completely non-intrusive in our approach, right? So we don't integrate an SDK, or we don't ask the app owner to integrate an API or anything of that sort. What we do is we design our own bots, right? And these bots are continuously mimicking whatever a customer or a user would do on that particular app or product, right? So, this is no code, low code platforms are the way things are going to go in the future, right? So in fact, our own principle has been the lesser code you write, the more stable your product is likely to be, right? So the idea is to build as many reusable components as possible, and allow the user to just bring different components together and create their product, right? So that's the idea. So that's what we focus on. That's what we use to build our product, and that's what we provide to our customers.
Yeah, you just touched upon how you program bots. I think that sounds very interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about that process and what the purpose of the bot is?
Yeah, the bot is essentially mimicking anything that a customer would do. So if you are a user of a Netflix app, for example, what you would do is open the app, click on the first video that comes on the banner, and watch it for, let's say, 2 minutes, and then decide whether you want to continue watching that or not watch that, right? Or you would go to the search bar and search for a particular content that you want to watch, right? So what the bot is designed to do is to essentially mimic what a customer or a user would do on a particular, let's say it's a media app, or it's a gaming app, or it's a commerce app, or so on. So it mimics a bunch of user journeys that are typically done on a particular category of app, right? Yeah. Think about it as a synthetic user, right? And it's almost like you're creating a AI bot which thinks like a user who's using that particular product.
Yeah. Okay. So through the various years of and experiences that you have, and also the previous projects that you've done, and also building Mozark, what do you think are some of the main key insights that you have through the process, or takeaways that you've learned through the journey of like setting up this as well as the previous projects that you've worked on?
Yeah, I think to me the key learnings have been that when you set out to build a product, right, or set out to build anything for that matter, I think the first thing is to understand the need, right, and whether that need is something that is worthwhile solving for, right? So just go back to what is the need or the problem that you're trying to solve, and make sure that that need or problem is large enough or complex enough, right, which you're bringing your solution to, right, and enough number of people have that problem, right, that you're trying to solve. So I think that's very critical. Set out to solve a problem that many people have, right? Second would be to obviously you need a strong team, right, that can go out and tackle that problem. You don't need to necessarily have people who know technology, right? It's important, but what you need is somebody who can use technology to solve the problem, right? So smart people who can understand technology but use technology to solve a problem is probably what is most important, right? So that's what I would say are my biggest learnings so far.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on our platform and to do this interview. It's been so nice hearing about you and about the building of Mozark. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Navya. Thank you so much.